So what is the thing that most drivers worry about? Most drivers worry about the ratings, because the ratings are like your GPA. If you have a low ratings, then Uber could require you to take a training course and make you pay for it. And that's but if you get low ratings after that, then maybe potentially, I'm not sure if they deactivate drivers, but I know that Lyft did back about 4 to 5 years ago. They were just deactivating drivers like crazy and acting like, acting all goody about it and trying to hide it. But they were getting rid of drivers for like 4.80. And they didn't care if it's Christmas. They'll just get rid of drivers, deactivate them, and act like it never happened. They weren't really loyal with their drivers. And that has to be, not that I drive Uber and I'm trying to, say things about Lyft, but it's true that they got rid of drivers. And I have proof on that because I have a blog and there's material on that, actual emails and what they say to their drivers and how they treat their drivers. And I think that Uber has loyalty. They give their drivers a chance. Maybe they're not perfect, but we're all learning. We're learning, they're learning, we're always learning. And I feel that Uber gives their drivers a chance. I mean, they have a rating system. But sometimes I tried to rate a girl less yesterday because I usually give all 5 stars, but this girl was really tough and really, she had like all her Kleenexes like on the seat. She blew on her nose and she had like 25 Kleenexes all over, and she's just really, it was just a really tough ride, and she didn't want to walk across, so she had me driving all over the college campus, and I wanted to rate her less than a 4, and they wouldn't even let me. Like they were like allowing, it was like the least amount I could rate her was a 4, but then it said that they were to tell her, and I kind of worried that whether if I did that, then maybe she would rate me less because she still had time to rate me, and I thought that was unfair because I can't be honest about my feedback. So sometimes I just give like just 5 stars, even if I didn't feel like the ride was good. I can't be accurate because they have time to rate me, and I feel like that sometimes we're not protected as drivers. Maybe if they're doing something wrong and they're drinking or something, it's like we can't report them because now they could rate us and say something and make up something. Is this unfair? Because sometimes we get, because why allow a rider to give us 3 stars without us letting us know what we did, or 2 stars or 1 star? How could a rider give a driver that's a 4.96 a 1 star when that driver is highly rated? They should have a reason, and it should be like they should file a report, and they should confirm that with the driver and not just allow that 1 star to kick in. So the rating system is not very accurate. I have like a 4.91 and I have like maybe 14,000 rides, but there's time that I was worried about my ratings. They dipped pretty low. They went down to a 4.80 once, and I was worried because if it went down to below that, it was just going to keep going down. It wasn't a good time because I was getting a bunch of tough riders, and I was able to get it all the way up as high as 4.96. That's my highest. So I've been hovering around a 4.91 for a long time. So I think that's pretty good. That people will look for your ratings when you're driving in different cities. They'll be like, "Oh, I want to see what this driver's about. I want to see if they're like what a 4.90." 9 driver, like how they treat us. And maybe I open the doors for them and I give them like water, give them mints, I offer chargers, I greet them, I'm nice to them, I talk to them, and if they don't want to talk, then I don't talk. And I'll look for if they're on the phone, I'm not going to bother them. I'm going to drive safe. I'm going to if I pick them up and they're going to the airport, I'm going to ask them what airlines they're flying and the time of their airline, like what time is leaving, so that I kind of know what I'm dealing with. Because if they're not making good time, I'm going to be honest with them. I'm not going to tell them I'm going to make it if I know I'm not going to make it. And I'm not going to go speeding to get to the airport, driving crazy, because Uber does monitor our miles per hour if we go above 80. They may not monitor, they'll warn us, it'll start beeping and stuff. Like, you can't be driving like that. So you don't want to be driving fast. Like, you have to be safe. But the ratings is that sometimes you're going to get some riders that are not going to be fair, but don't take it personal. We do the best we can. We deal with a wide range of people. There's a bunch of people, different personalities, different attitudes, different situations. It's something different about everyone, and they're in a different place in their life. They may have a story why they're acting a certain way. You may talk to them and they don't want to be talked to. You may talk to them and they like need you to talk to them, because now if you didn't talk to them, then they would have done something bad to themselves, like depression and, certain things that you pick up on. But I think it's worth it, because you're not going to be able to impress everyone. But if you have a 4.90, you've done something right. We're not going to be 5.0 drivers. I mean, we want to be, but that's just really hard to maintain, because somebody's going to ruin it along the way. So the rating system will drive you nuts, because you don't want to go out and drive. You're like, oh, I don't want this score. But you know what? Don't worry about it. Just do what you do best. Treat your riders like your family and just drive. Don't worry so much about your score. Otherwise, you're not going to get out there and make money. And it's going to like change your moods, and it's going to make you like down, and you're going to worry about it, and you're going to feel like, why didn't they like me? And you're going to go crazy about it. So you know what? Don't go crazy about it. Just don't worry about it. Like, you do the best you can, and you don't know who gave you what, and it's not fair. It's just, yeah, it's not fair, because Uber doesn't share things with us. It'll be like, oh, some rider said that you said something to them and they felt uncomfortable, and then they're like, what did they say? And they're like, they said something, and they're like, what was said? I like to know. And then they're like, eventually they might say something like, oh, you said this, and I'm like, I didn't say that. Like, I never say that. And they're like, well, they said, and I'm like, I did not say that. So sometimes you have to fight for yourself, because they say things and make up things, and maybe some riders want you to get kicked off the platform and they're jealous. It's like something. There's just things that happen, but we can't control these things that happen with the ratings. But the ratings are pretty accurate in the sense that not everyone's going to give you, 5 stars. Maybe they have different standards on how they, maybe you didn't take a certain route and they expected you. We can't read minds, We're not going to know to go take a certain route because they're testing us. I had a rider once, a client, that said, if they take this route, they're an idiot. If they take this route, they're smart. But how would they know what route to take if they're following GPS and they're getting somewhere? It's like, are they like mind readers? So some clients are tough, you can't please them all. But if you maintain consistent service, then you're going to do good with the ratings. But the ratings could discourage you to get on the road, because you don't want to, you don't want your score to go lower. You have like this pride thing, or you're happy. You're like, I like the score, but don't worry about the score, because if you do a good job, they're going to see it and your score will level off. Like, where you're going to, you drive a bunch of people at night that are drinking and they're not fair to you. Eventually, don't drive at those times. Like, drive in different areas. Just do the best you can, like, because the riders are, you're just dealing with a wide range of people in every place. And you may want a 4.90, because that shows that you're a great driver. But you could be a great driver at a 4.80, Sometimes you just get tough rides. There's times I've driven clients that were like 3. I'm thinking, like, how are they still on the platform? And then Uber allows that, And maybe you see why the person's a 3, or why a person's a certain thing and the way they act. And then you might see some 4.9 clients, you're like, oh, wow, now I see why they have a 4.9. Because they're friendly and they say, oh, pull over here when you get a chance, which is safe for you, and I want you to get a ticket, and they're concerned about you. Then you see why they're 4.9. But then I've seen some really bad 4.9s, like where the drivers weren't being honest with their feedback. But sometimes we can't be. Like, we want to, but then it seemed like now Uber's like, I was trying to rate that girl less than a 4, and they didn't let me. They were asking me, like, what went wrong. I had to pick something, and they were going to tell the rider. So then I would have to be concerned about that, because what if that rider saw that I said something and they notified her, and then she hadn't rated me yet, so now she could give me a low star, and she won't even have a reason. Like, so I don't know why she gave, like, she's the one that was creating the problems, and then I would get blamed for that. So then it was just better for me just to give her a 5 star, But if we were to rate accurately and just not worry about the client score, because we don't want to ruin it, because there's some really bad clients that could be 4.90. They could be like just really telling you how to drive, treating you bad. They're late, they're somewhere else, they talk to you, they talk down on you. They're just like, it's just like a lot of things that they do in one particular ride that you're like, whoa, they're a 4.90 and they're like acting like this. And then we just know that the drivers just didn't want to give them a lower score. So I think that the rating system, just do the best you can. Treat your riders like your family. Keep your car clean. I mean, dress nice if you can. I mean, right now I'm dressed like in a, a suit and stuff, but I mean, I wear blazers and nice clothes, but I don't ever dress down. I'm not gonna go out in pajamas like I've seen some people, and shorts or like baggy pants. I dress, um, casual at times, but it's always like a collared shirt or something. But I don't wear t-shirts, and I don't wear stuff that I wear stuff as if you're going to go out, for a night out. This stuff, blazers, collared shirts. If you wear jeans, you can wear nice shoes with it. Collared shirt, long sleeve, short sleeve. It's hot. Sometimes it gets hot in the Bay, Napa, certain places get warm. Los Angeles is probably warm. I mean, just dress presentable. Like take pride then in that you're an Uber driver. I mean, you don't have to think that you're going to do it forever or you're just a driver. You're more than a driver. You're a person that can make a difference and make people happy. Positive influence on many people. So I think it's good that that they have a rating system, because look at the taxi industry. They weren't accountable for the way they were acting by kicking out people in rides and saying like leave and we're not going to the back of the city or going here because we're not going to get a fare. I mean, they were treating people bad like there was no other options. Like, this is the only store that you're going to be shopping in. If you don't like it, then get out. Like, so then Uber and Lyft and Sidecar one time, because Sidecar was a player before, but unfortunately, they were like the innovators, but they weren't really respected in the way that they should have been. But yeah, I like Sidecar. I've driven for all three, and Sidecar was really a good one. And I did meet the CEO, the former CEO of Sidecar, and I really told him I appreciated him and told him that he made a difference in the industry. And maybe people don't know who he is, but I do. I know who he is, and I knew everything about him, and I talked to him for the whole ride, 20 minutes, and I told him like how his name is Sunil Paul, and he's a good guy. And I told him, and he said I made his day. And I remembered everything. I read everything he wrote. That he developed the app, and he was one of the early innovators of ride sharing. And people don't know who he is, but definitely look him up. Sunil Paul. Look up his background, and he's he deserves a lot of respect. Because sometimes people look at his Uber and Lyft and like, oh, they're the ones that are making it happen, but he made it happen. Sidecar was a very good app and very good ride sharing. They just lost the Uber and Lyft. They just couldn't keep the doors open, and they had to go out. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes quality is not always gonna stick around. It's like people want to save on it. They want convenience, and they might use Uber and Lyft. But as driver, you could drive Uber and Lyft, but I prefer that. I don't really, to be honest, I don't really like Lyft because of some disloyal things they've done to their drivers in the past, including myself, to me as well. And that was years ago, but I'm glad I went with Uber. I mean, things went wrong with Uber, but I made it work because I know how to do Uber, and I'm confident in Uber, and I'm positive, and I try to do a good job, and I like the clients, and I drive students, I drive a wide range of people, and tech people, business people, just working class, people who want to have fun. They're going to sports events, going to bars, and it's just that you drive a lot of different people, so your scores are going to vary, because some people have higher standards and they're not going to tell you. You miss a turn and it's like, oh, this ride was terrible. And it's like, oh, you're not driving fast enough. They're not going to tell you. They're just going to write down like there's no urgency in the driving. They may give you a certain score. You may just get all 5 stars for like, one time I got all 5 stars for like 6 weeks straight. All 5 stars. Because I was doing something right. I was just consistent with my service, opening doors when I can, and greeting them, and good morning, good evening, good afternoon, just doing great things, like just treating them good, good morning, John, I'm Jason, welcome to Uber, hope how's your evening going, or how's your morning going, or I have some charges. You want to charge your phone? Do you need you need some juice in your phone? And would you like some water on the side door? Would you care for a mint? Is there a channel that you want to listen to? You want to plug in your phone on the auxiliary and play some music? I just really establish that right away. And then when I have Uber pool rides, I usually introduce all new riders to the riders that started it, to let them know, to make sure that they know that everyone's part of this Uber pool, so they're not thinking that we're driving our friends or some other people, to make them feel comfortable, like as if they're in your home, and you introduce everyone. Because if you're in somebody's home and you don't introduce everyone to everyone, everybody feels uncomfortable, and it's just not a good feeling. So it's good to have icebreakers and just really show respect for all your riders. And if you do things that respect Uber as well, and you just represent yourself and just yourself, like give good service and take pride in yourself, value yourself, and reflect that onto your riders, and they'll know that you are a positive person, and you're just trying to do a good job, and you enjoy driving Uber, and your score will reflect you as a person. And you may not have a 5.0 and you have a 4.9. That 4.9 is something to be proud of. Even if you have a 4.80, just be proud of it. And even if you have less score, just do a good job. Drive safe, keep your car clean. You don't have to give water or mints or offer plugs, but just do the best you can, and take pride in that you're given this opportunity to drive people around and make a difference and make them feel good. Maybe they're down, they have low moods, and you just make a difference. You're uplifting and upbeat. And there's moments you need to be quiet, and then you just drive them. They're like, maybe they tell you, I prefer it to be silent. And I'm like, oh yeah, yes sir, or yes ma'am, I'm gonna be taking this call if you don't mind. I'm like, oh sure, yes, please do, and if they want to open the window, like, can I open the window? I'm like, please, is this the way you talk to them? Like, never get into any conflict, because they have a lot of power over you. The riders have power. Once you start that ride, they're empowered. It seems that you can't do nothing wrong. You can't get in an argument with them. You'll be done. You'll be cooked. But do handle situations that are bad. You could always take them to the police, Know that you have some rights. Like, don't let people walk over you or drive over you. Like, you have, you're not just a driver, you're a person, and just be careful, you have that option, and they have other protection that on the app, maybe you could report incidents and certain things if you feel uncomfortable, and maybe you don't want to bring it to their attention. So these are things that, are not as common, but there are risks in everything that we do. So just be careful, out there, but don't let the rating system control you to where you're like worried and you start to get down and you wonder what happened. You know what? Like, we try to be perfect. We try to do the best we can, because we try to be perfect because we care and we want to do a good job, but we can't be perfect. The world is an imperfect place, and we're all imperfect. But we have to be happy to be who we are and value who we are and what we can do in this world. And this driving Uber, and worrying about your ratings all the time, then you're not going to want to get on the road. You don't do that. Just go out and make your money and treat people good, and just feel good about what you're doing. And ultimately, you're going to make money, and you're going to have good scores, and maybe you get some feedback that's not so good, like somebody was like, oh, professionalism or conversation wasn't good or certain things. But don't worry about that stuff, like, as long as you're doing a good job, then be happy. Just be happy that that you are doing a good job, you're making money, and you're being safe, and you're making people feel good. You can't make everyone feel good, and you can't make everyone happy. It's just unfortunate that, just like a movie, not every movie is going to be popular, and not every movie is going to make money. Even if it's a good movie, it's not going to make the most money, or it's not going to compete against these movies. It's not in a competition. It's just about what you can do. You, as a driver for Uber, just really, if you allow the rating system to control you, then it will control you, and then you'll be concerned about every score, like, oh, I didn't do good this week, and I didn't do good that, and then you just won't get on the road. Like, you need to get on the road and just really, just get out there. If you're a new driver, just get out there. Like, don't worry about it. Don't about every score, like, oh, I didn't do good this week, and I didn't do good that, and then you just won't get on the road. Like, you need to get on the road and just really, just get out there. If you're a new driver, just get out there. Like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about things that, don't worry if your ratings are not so good for 1 week. You could always make up for it the next week. And I think they rate you on the last 500 rides, so you have time to always fix it. If you take pride and you want to be a better driver, you're like, oh, I feel like I want to be a 4.9 driver, not a 4.8, or I want to be a 4.8 and not a 4.7. So it's really up to you. I mean, if you worry about your ratings, then do certain things that will get it up. But I don't really worry about my ratings too much, because it used to drive me nuts early on. And I was just getting a bunch of tough riders, and it seemed like they set you up sometimes. Like, you give a couple rides, and then they'll like kind of, oh, can you stick around, and you need to drive these girls home and all that. And it'll put you in really tough spots. And if you don't, then it might be dangerous to be there, because they're like doing things and you just need to get out of there because you don't want to be there. And if you don't take them to go pick up a prostitute, now you're a bad driver because you don't want to do that. Or, they weren't allowed to, light a blunt in their car when you know that you have to drive other people. Because I don't do drugs, so why am I going to let them light marijuana when it was illegal at the time? And they just do it, and now your car's like smelling like it, and they're gonna assume that you had a joint before you took shift. I mean, it's just unfair, but unfortunately we do drive people that are like that. So, but just do a good job with your maintain a system, and your score will take care of itself. Just like when you go to your jobs, your regular day jobs, you do a good job, and when they do performance feedback on you, then if you're a hard worker, then it's going to reflect that, and I think that, you make a difference as a driver. You're more than a driver, you're an Uber partner, and take pride in that. Thank you, guys.